Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the Beyond Bitcoin Show. Today is December the 8th, 2018. Strong hand, unconfiscatable. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. Personal responsibility is the new counterculture. Deferral gratification, conviction. All right, everybody, check out yesterday's This Week in Bitcoin show. It was a rocking show with BTC Benny and Christian from California. And also, we were keeping it on the West Coast. Anders from California, and he had never been on the show before. So check that out. You can watch all my old This Week in Bitcoin shows at techbalt.com, TECHBALT. And that's also my Twitter handle, techbalt. And disruptmeister.com. You can watch all over 1,100 of the cryptocurrency related shows I've ever been on. disruptmeister.com. All right, tomorrow will be a very special One Bitcoin show. Francis Pouliot from Montreal will be on to discuss his new project. That is tomorrow at 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. So check this out. All right, so I'm going to start this. This is the Beyond Bitcoin show. We're going to talk about a lot of subjects that are beyond Bitcoin, but I want to start with a Bitcoin related topic. And this is a tweet from a fan of Dave Rubin. And Dave Rubin, I've mentioned his show. He's got a YouTube show. It's a political show, a philosophy show, whatever you want to say it is. He's got all sorts of different people. I don't agree with him all the time, but he's got a pretty popular show. Anyway, this person tweets out to Dave Rubin, I donate to both of you on Patreon, but they just booted Sargon of Akkad, another guy I support. I want to keep supporting you, but don't want to give censorious Patreon the fees. How can we cut them out? Do you take crypto? So here's the deal. I have never been a fan of Patreon because of this. I mean, they can cut anybody out whenever they want to. So Dave Rubin gets donations from people through Patreon. So did Sargon of Akkad. Well, now they're not allowing Sargon of Akkad to do it through Patreon anymore. So some people who have standards are like, well, if they cut out Sargon of Akkad, I'm not going to use Patreon at all. I'm not going to use it at all. I don't care if one of my favorite people, Dave Rubin, is on there. I'm not going to give Dave Rubin any money through Patreon. He better find another way because, Patreon is censorious. So Dave Rubin responds, I've lost about 120 patrons already. Everyone apologizing to me, but drawing their line in the sand. I have no problem when people stand up for what they believe. We'll have an update about all this on Monday. Then he goes on to say on another tweet, and this is all linked to below. Everything I talk about is linked to below. Get your shirts below, linked to below. As a test, here's my Bitcoin wallet. Let's see what happens. Now he gives a Bitcoin address of his. And I actually linked to that address below. And you can see that in a very short period of time, he already got 15 donations totaling 0.13 Bitcoin. And it shows that he already has quite a lot of followers who are fans who are very familiar with Bitcoin, who are willing to give up their Bitcoin to him. So here's the deal. Maybe Dave Rubin will get into this. Maybe this. I have said this many times on this show, that people like Dave Rubin shouldn't be relying on third parties. They should do exactly what Dave Rubin did, list a freaking Bitcoin address at the end of every show or the beginning of every show, say, hey, if you support me, if you want to support what I do, send me Bitcoin to this address. No more middlemen. No one can shut off his Bitcoin address. People can Patreon is centralized. It can be shut off. Now, Bitcoin can't. It's unconfiscatable. It's uncensorable. And I would advise Dave Rubin, these Bitcoin donations that you're getting now, don't convert them into fiat. Wait, and you'll become a bigger fan of Bitcoin. Value your wealth in Bitcoin. Dave Rubin, if you're watching this. Now, also, Dave Rubin, you got to reply here on your thread. And this is from someone who's meaning well. I'm sure this person means well. But this is not how you get a new person into Bitcoin. This is what this person said. Please consider using SegWit addresses. So, okay, Dave Rubin doesn't even know the difference between an address and a wallet or anything, okay? And now you got a guy using a term that Dave Rubin clearly will not understand. You don't tell rookies right away, please use, if someone is listing a Bitcoin address, you don't say they're doing it wrong. Basically, this is what this person is doing. The person doesn't know, Dave Rubin doesn't know what a SegWit address is, okay? Don't throw that in his face now to complicate matters. He's already taken a very good first, you can't take it real slow with people. Don't throw the term. If someone wants a Bitcoin address and they put a Bitcoin address out there, that is awesome. Don't try to say, hey, you should have done a SegWit address, because they're not going to know what that is. It's going to turn them off. It also shows you, I mean, it just shows you how technical all this stuff can be. If you want to make it technical, don't make it technical for new people, especially new people with like millions of followers who could really, and he's got an open mind to a lot of things. He's mentioned crypto before when he had, what's the Peter Thiel on. He mentioned crypto. So, I mean, you don't want to get technical with a guy like this, okay? Eventually, let him learn what SegWit is on his own. Don't try to throw technical stuff up now, because it's only going to turn a newbie off. You don't throw SegWit onto a rookie the same day he posts his Bitcoin address for the first time on Twitter, and has already gotten 14 or 15 people to give him over 0.13 Bitcoin. Okay, pound that like button, people, if you're liking the Beyond Bitcoin show. So let's keep it on Bitcoin real quick. I thought an interesting test for people in the crypto space, and this would reveal the psychological makeup of some people. Tell them, here's a question you ask, and this will reveal a lot. Who do you respect more, Charlie Lee or fake Satoshi? I'm not even going to say fake Satoshi, but you know who I respect more. Now, there are going to be people out there that just love fake Satoshi. It's just amazing that like fake Satoshi's dictatorial, aggressive approach, centralized approach, like cursing, foul-mouthed approach, fake it until you make it approach. And then there are going to be people who like the quiet Charlie Lee. Doesn't have to, doesn't pretend to be anyone that he's not. So, yeah, I respect Charlie Lee. I have no respect for fake Satoshi, actually. So it's an interesting question to put. Maybe I'll put that in a poll. If I put, all my followers, I know what they're going to say. It would be an interesting poll to put on a CoinDesk, because they got all sorts of crazy people reading that. A diverse crowd, should I say. All right. So who do you respect more, Charlie Lee or fake Satoshi? To me, the choice is obvious. All right. So on Wednesday's Ben Shapiro's show, now getting into politics a little bit. And again, don't waste your time on politics. Don't get obsessed with this. But I bring it up on this show once a week. And the character that I'm bringing up, I've been bringing up since September. And Ben Shapiro and others, there's a rumor going on that Obama, the guy from Massachusetts is not running. Who's Duval Patrick is a friend of Obama's, and suddenly he's not running. So people for president in 2020, he's saying he's not. So people are suspecting that Obama might endorse Beto. And it makes a lot. I mean, this is just so predictable again, because as I've been saying, he's the fake Hispanic Obama. He's the white Obama, basically, because he uses a nickname to make people think he's Hispanic when he's like 100% Irish. But it would be very interesting if Obama endorsed Beto O'Rourke. And not that Beto O'Rourke has even said he's running, but I bet he does. And who knows? I'm not going to bet he does. It doesn't really matter. who's the president. You can be successful no matter who's the president. Okay, just value your wealth in Bitcoin. We've gone over that before. But the same type of followers, same type of fans that Obama had, Beto O'Rourke will have. So why not endorse him? You're gonna get all your people. Beto, he would love it. He would love life. Oh, he would become the Democratic nominee if Obama endorsed him. I mean, it's just a perfect fit. All of Obama's lackeys would just jump on the Beto side. All those young people, these idealistic, we need a young, beautiful leader, and who's Hispanic, who pretends to be Hispanic. Yeah. All right. So you can see the connection there. Again, I've been talking about this since September, and it's just because it's so obvious. It's so predictable. What the what the virtue signal, the political virtue signalers want. They want someone like this to get behind. Oh, he's RFK 2.0. He's Obama 2.0. But again, people, don't worry about it too much. I only bring it up once a week here, so don't. There's much more control. Worry about yourself before you get. But again, the people that are going to get behind Beto, they think that he's going to solve all their problems just like they thought Obama was going to solve all their problems. They're going to want their Beto phones. All right. So some people have also said that the United States of America needs its own version of the French president, Macron. Well, yeah, that's what Beto would probably be. Yeah, so they'll get their wish, I guess. So now I'm in Los Angeles, as all of you know, but I was obviously in Baltimore for 2 weeks, and also I see Anmar S is in the chat. I haven't seen him in the chat for a long time. How you doing, dude? Good evening. That's rare that I say hello to someone in the chat without seeing a super chat, but that dude, I recognize his sign, and I haven't seen him for a while. Good is good, Some people, there are a lot of people that have disappeared during this so-called bear market, but I know the hardcore fans are out there still, definitely. He's probably been busy, whatever he's been doing. Anyway, so let's go back to Baltimore. And to get to the airport, I had to take the light rail. This is going to be new for me now. And my mother dropped me off at the light rail at the Falls Road station. Now, the light rail in Baltimore, what can I say? You should thank God. You should thank God you're not part of the crew that's on the Baltimore light rail. And it's many drug addicts, just people who are not very well off. And there definitely is a bottom 20%. We talk about the top 20%. They're long-term thinkers. They can defer gratification. They produce a lot. Well, there's a bottom 20%, and low IQ type of people that are just make irrational decisions. You got tattoos all over them. Again, a lot of on drugs, and it's unfortunate. And then when the cops came on to do a fare check, to see if everybody had a ticket, so many people jumped off of the light rail. I mean, try to save $1.70, and you can risk getting a ticket or whatever. It's not long-term thinking. Maybe the people don't even have $1.70. They probably do. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it was, and of course the light rail. This is being run by the city of Baltimore, state of Maryland. I don't know, some combination of the two. And of course, there's a problem. A sinkhole all of a sudden came out of nowhere. And so you get on the light rail, then you have to transfer to a bus, then you get back on the light rail again. Other countries really have, they run their public transportation so much better. And it's not just the dregs of society that go on it either. I mean, when you're in Europe or when you're in Asia, everyone uses the public transportation. In Baltimore, where I am from, it's basically just the bottom 20%, at least at that time of day. There are some people who commute on it, I guess. There are some, but it's not like Europe or even New York City. Everybody uses it too. So yeah, you see a whole new world there. People who will never, they will live off of the welfare dollar forever. They won't be part of the Bitcoin world. It's interesting. This is life. There's a top 20%. There's a bottom 20%, and I seriously doubt that bottom 20% people have ever been in my chat. You know, we get some people saying insane things here, but I seriously doubt they were part of the group of people I had the pleasure of being with for an hour on Baltimore Public Transportation on what day was that? On Wednesday. Hey, but it gets you to BWI eventually. Baltimore Washington International Airport, for all those of you who don't know. Pound that like button. Okay, so let's talk about something else that's well, something that's bureaucratic. So a place I never thought I would step foot in. I had to go into the Social Security office in Owings Mills, Maryland, a suburb, a Jewish suburb, or was once more Jewish. Anyway, so that's a whole nother story. I was in the Owings Mills Social Security office. My mom is of the age where she is going to receive Social Security. Now, let me just point out, my mom has contributed to Social Security her whole life, so she's getting her money back now, supposedly. So she had to set up an appointment. I don't know the whole reason, but this office, I mean, I wrote down these notes on this piece of paper when I was in the office. And when I was in the waiting room, it made me so happy that I will have Bitcoin instead of having to deal with anything. I mean, I don't know what Social Security I'm going to be entitled to, because I've obviously contributed some to that over time. I don't care. I know I'm not getting it. My life, I have planned my future, has nothing to do with receiving any government benefits, even though I have paid into, you know, whatever they forced you to pay into. But just being in that waiting room, okay, in Owings Mills, where there were 35 people waiting, okay? There were 35 people, all sorts of people in there, okay? They weren't just older people either. I guess there were some people on disability in there too. They were younger. Who knows why they were in there? I mean, I heard some single mom with tattoos. She could afford tattoos on her back, but she couldn't afford whatever. She was reapplying for some welfare program. I overheard it. She said she had been in California and she had lost her Maryland, and now Maryland won't give her whatever, or there was federal. I don't even know. I don't know these things. But hearing all this stuff makes me so happy that I am in the Bitcoin overlay. I will never have to deal with these people. I will never have to go. But my mom didn't want to go to this place alone. I don't blame her. It wasn't, you know, there's a guard at the door just in case there's a riot. There's cameras everywhere. And a machine gives you a number. You know, it's a machine. Not even a human. You get a number from, you type in something in a machine. That's good. At least we're not at least the federal taxes aren't going to pay someone to give you a number. But the funniest thing is, my mom had an appointment. Most people, they don't have it, so she was served relatively quickly. So we go to the room where we're supposed to meet, or the desk where we're supposed to meet with the person. And there's a lady there, and she says, well, you'll be speaking to Mr. Jones. He's on the phone. So they hand my mother a phone. She's talking to a guy on a phone. Why this could not have been done from, my mom couldn't just call the guy from her house, I don't know. She goes to the Social Security office in Owings Mills to talk to a guy on the phone. So yeah, what else did I say there? Yeah, there were cameras. Yeah, okay, yeah. Anyway, it's quite a lot to go through to get your money back, because again, it was her. She's been paying all that money. Now she has to. Now I don't know. I don't know the whole process of receipt. I think so. It depends on what like how old you are when you started, I guess. I think she decided to start at a later year, and that's maybe why she had to have an appointment. I don't know if everybody has to have an appointment. Thank God I don't know anything about that whole thing, because I'm never going to participate in it. And hopefully that will be the last time I will ever be in a Social Security office in my life. I don't see another reason why I would have to go, because my mom has settled whatever she had to settle with them. And apparently her check will be coming. She'll be getting her money back soon enough that she's given them all these years. So yes, I know very well I'm never going to get that. And I'm very happy about that, because I'm on Bitcoin. I'm in Bitcoin land. I'm in the overlay. You don't have to deal with Owings Mills Social Security office if you're in the Bitcoin overlay. Pound that like button. All right. So, oh yeah, here we go. I linked to below an interview, an intense interview with Dr. Thomas Seyfried. I brought him up before. He's the guy that talks about fasting to cure, to take care of cancer. I want to say cure cancer, but this is an intense interview with a doctor named Peter Adia. Peter Adia, I think his name is Peter Adia, who's a very smart man. And so the questions are they're deep questions here. Not everyone's going to be able to follow this, but it's a good, it'll get you introduced to Thomas Seyfried, and maybe you can look up, you can Google him if you want to learn more about intermittent fasting, and not intermittent, but like fasting for at least 72 hours, or fasting to get rid of cancer. If you have I mean, this is not a good intro video to it because it's quite complex, but if you're intrigued by it, it'll allow you to know some names you can Google, YouTube, look up, and I know some of you guys are interested in this. And yes, of course, when I flew, every time I fly, I do at least a 48-hour fast now. Okay, because most of you know my intermittent fasting is I fast 22 hours between every meal. But if I'm going on a plane, I don't eat that day. I don't eat that day. So I skip a day. So yeah, it was a 48-hour fast when I flew out here. So every time I fly, it's at least a 48-hour fast. It's just something to do. It's discipline. I'm a very disciplined person, and it helps your strong hand. I think if you can control your eating, you can definitely control your Bitcoin holding there. All right. Don't look for moral authority in the government and in the president. It was never meant to be the government. The United States government was never meant to be a place where you look for your moral authority. And they were talking about this on the Ben Shapiro show, actually. But so many people look up to government officials and try to get some moral authority from them. Treat them like their parents. And it just shows how sick this Western world has become, when lots of people in society are looking for like a moral compass from sociopaths who just want power. It's a bad feedback loop there. So don't put these guys on. You got to think rationally. If you're getting into politics here, think that they're all bums. They're bums. They're supposed to make decisions that are based, on the financial benefit of the country, or just, they're not supposed to steal from people. They're not. So if you're looking for them to be to give you advice on how to live your life properly, and if they have an affair, like, oh, maybe I can have an affair, or that's horrible. No, they're not. Don't look into that side of them at all. Just keep it really unemotional. Do not become emotionally attached to these people at all. And most of them, of course, aren't trying to run things, aren't very rational individuals anyway, and aren't trying to run the country like a business at all. They're playing on people's emotions, and they want people to worship them and look up to them as moral authorities. But no, you shouldn't look for moral authority in the government or in the president. They're all bums. All right. Pound that like button. TechBalt, follow me, Twitter. So Sandman has a very interesting quote. He doesn't usually get deep, Sandman. But at the 525 mark of the video that I linked to below, he says, free thinkers aren't free thinkers because they are contrarians. They are free thinkers because they form their own opinions. And I thought that was a great point. And there's some people out there that just try to be contrarians all the time. Like, to appear to be rebels, to fit in a certain way. They're trying to fit in, or they're trying to cause trouble. But blindly being a contrarian, that's not thinking at all. That's not thinking. You pick a side because you've thought about it. You've come up with a rational reason why this person is, this side of an argument is correct. And maybe it is going against the grain. If you have a logical reason for being a contrarian, then that is awesome. But just being a contrarian over and over and over again, just for the sake of being a contrarian, you're not thinking at all. So that was a good reminder by the Sandman, going a little deep there, going a little thinking ape style there. Look, I see Vention's in the chat now too. What's up, dude? All right, so all right, and finally, we're going to talk about Hanukkah, because tonight was the 7th night of Hanukkah. I lit the candles a little while ago. Happy Hanukkah. Tomorrow's the last night of Hanukkah. So on Monday's Ben Shapiro show, he was commenting on a New York Times article, or I guess an opinion piece by a Jewish guy, by a secular Jewish guy. And so I linked to the video below where Ben Shapiro starts talking about it. It's not till the 55-minute mark of the show. So it's at the very end of the show. So fast forward to the 55-minute mark. And you'll learn about, I guess, some of the weaknesses of liberal Jewish people in the United States of America. That they really, many of them, like, they don't stand for anything. They're just liberals. They're not really even Jewish anymore. And the Hanukkah, what the guy was writing about is that, like, he doesn't want to celebrate Christmas because he's Jewish. But then he started looking into what Hanukkah was about. And he was like, because what Hanukkah is about were Jews of the olden days who refused to conform, who refused to become the Greeks, to become Hellenized, to fit in with society, to give up what they believed. Hanukkah is about the preservation of the Jewish way of life, of the Jews. It's not this reverse Christmas or the equivalent of Christmas. It's not the Jewish. It has nothing to do. There are presents that are given, whatever. It's at the same time of year as Christmas sometimes. People are like, oh, you could have Hanukkah. No, that's a complete contradiction of the holiday. The whole holiday of Hanukkah is about not fitting in. It's about not giving in and becoming and celebrating Christmas. This celebrating Christmas is the complete opposite of Hanukkah. But so these secular Jews have a very hard time, like, putting that in their heads. Like, well, I want to fit in so much, but I'm celebrating this holiday that's about not fitting into. So I don't want people to know that I'm different. I want to be the same as the Greeks. But so how can I celebrate this holiday? And so Ben Shapiro points out that the Jews survived the Hellenists. These secular, these guys that have these little snowflakes, virtue signalers that worry about fitting in, worry about the battles that the Jews, the story of Hanukkah is like it's a violent story. It's a violent story. They were hardcore with their beliefs. They were willing to fight for their beliefs. And so, they're not going to survive. They'll survive as human beings, but these secular Jewish people, they're not going to be. Their kids aren't going to be Jewish for long if they have these little worries about fitting in and they can't preserve. If you don't believe, they believe in nothing. They believe in nothing. They believe in fitting in and blending in. If you just blend in, you become this blah. You got to stand. You got to stand for something, and that's what Hanukkah is about. It was about not conforming and keeping the traditions alive. So I enjoy that. I enjoy the Hanukkah holiday a lot, and remembering what it was. It was a rebellion of Jews who were like, we're going to stay Jewish. We're not becoming Greeks here. Anyway, so that's my little commentary there. Ben Shapiro at the end of his show, he put it a lot better than I did, but that's my little spin on it. And yeah, so and that's just a reminder out there. A lot of you have different impressions of Jewish people, but not every. There's a whole scale, there's conservative ones, there's liberal ones, there's all sorts of different ones out there. We're not all the same. We're not some monolithic group of people out there. And but the more I will say this, the more the Jewish people that are trying to blend in and that talk about Christmonica and stuff, no, they won't be. Their kids won't be Jewish for long. Trust me on that one. All right, I'm Adam Meister, Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video. Check out the link section below. I will say hi to you guys in the chat. Bye-bye.